I walk down this road alone, still can't find a place here where I belong. Thanks for nothing, all the people here that did me wrong. Feel the beat, I'm just looking for a better song. Yeah, I'm the first and the last to do it. Cannot stop for nothing, put it in the music. Picture perfect vision, yeah, it's all the same. Smooth against the grain, yelling money ain't a thing. As I walk down these cities.
Oh, we're rolling?
Okay.
Welcome, everybody.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Right Mind Wednesday podcast.
My name is L.Y.F.E. This is Kayla right here to my right. And we've got...
So my artist name is ND Trip, but my name is Nick. So nice to meet everybody.
Word, awesome.
Am I going to do a full... Okay.
Pull that mic closer.
Here, my name is Justin. I'm just a little guest. I'm with Krispy tonight.
Word.
We go a little back.
Cool.
Way back.
Way
Yeah.
back.
It's been a while since I've seen you. Maybe like 2 or 3 years, something like that. Yeah. Right, yeah. Good that you made an appearance.
I try.
Yeah.
I squeeze out every once in a while.
Yeah.
Gotta come see how the kids are doing.
Yeah. So what you got going on? You got you working on any albums, any shows coming up?
Right now, I'm kind of just like chilling. I dropped an album recently called Sunrise. So that was like the major project for myself for like the past like, I don't know how long I've been working on that album. Probably like two years.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Probably a little longer. It got pushed back because of COVID and everything like that. So yeah, I've been trying to just really be consistent, like really kind of figure out my craft more. And I feel like this album like kind of showed everything like that I've been working on from, well, I started music probably in 2016, like doing it like just here and there, and then I got serious about it and I was like, wow, like I actually really love it. I really love music. It really helped me to figure out myself and like raised me in a way.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's why I just feel that, you know, at the end of the day, like it just helps me to like release, you know.
Yeah.
And I just really want to keep on like getting that process going and keep on like figuring out like where it takes me, you know.
Yeah, definitely. And like music is a very expressive thing, so like
For sure.
I mean, yeah, like of course I know who I am, but like when I have a topic and like write about it, it's like, holy crap, like I just unlocked something that I didn't know I had in me.
Facts.
So I mean, it propels you far, you know.
For sure, man.
Not only as an artist, but as a person, you know.
For sure.
So
Yeah.
I think it helps you just reflect and everything too. Like you get like just this weird, like I was talking to Kayla the other day, like there's so many situations like you start to reflect and you're like, oh, that's why that's happening in my life.
Exactly.
Oh, that's a reason for that. That's a reason why I act like this.
Exactly.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Now let me, and now we have music
Yeah.
that we can put it out and be able to share that with other people. You know, there's methods to the madness, if you will, of why we act certain ways, and it could be things that have stemmed from like our childhood and things that were like way far back that we've like suppressed, and then all of a sudden like God's like, I need you to understand for a certain reason, that this is why you're acting this way, because I want you to fix it.
For sure.
Whatever it may be.
Yeah.
Just like giving you that revelation of just like, oh, that's why I'm such a jerk to people.
Yeah.
Okay, I need to fix that. Okay, now I understand
Yeah.
why. It isn't everybody else that I've been interacting with. It's that one person that I'm still holding on to.
For
Yeah.
sure.
From back in the day.
Sure.
Yeah.
I totally agree. Yeah. So I feel like music has been like a therapy for me, and like for me, I've been in therapy for like the past like 5 years. And I'm really, I have the same therapist. She has helped me to really figure out myself in a way, and it's weird because she doesn't like really know me on like a relationship of a friend, but she knows me on that like therapist, like she's like a second mom in a way. It's kind of weird. She knows a lot about me. Like she knows like more about me than some of my friends, like I feel like my music is like really personal too, so I kind of like teeter on the fact of like, oh, like am I saying too much? Am I like exposing myself for people to like judge me or like kind of like think a certain way? Because sometimes I say things in my music that's like I wouldn't even like say to like people on a regular basis.
Yeah.
And it's just like I don't know. Like,
it's like
that's the
how
beauty
are
of
people
it.
gonna perceive this?
Exactly.
Like, especially, I mean, I'm not sure. Like, how long have you been making music for? Like a few years.
Yeah, like I've been making music really. So I started like probably like 2017. So like I've been doing it. At first it wasn't too serious, but I feel like right when like 2019 hit, like I really started like doing like I feel like I really made an effort to actually like pursue it more.
Okay, yeah.
And like it's like kind of like a lifestyle for me, but like I tell people like, you know, it's really like a hobby, but for me, that I hope it would take me further if that's what life takes me. But yeah, I've been doing it like really since 2019.
Yeah.
But
all right, cool. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So like when you first come out, like people around you like don't know that there is a side of you, a certain side of you. You know what I mean? And like we really don't know like what's going on like really like deep down unless we check up on each other and. That's when we like open everything up. It's like, okay, like here's the deal, and you're doing it in lyrical form, in a creative way.
Yeah.
And to us, there's nothing more therapeutic than that. It could be acting for you.
I definitely think there's obviously to be a creative in general, there's just a level of vulnerability that like you have to, even if you're not comfortable with it, like you have to know that it's gonna be there. And I do want to say thank you for being so transparent just about like you talking about mental health and what has worked for you. I think that's so important to talk about just in general, but also just from a male standpoint. I think that's really important to talk about so we can break some of these stigmas that go on that are still there. So I just want to say thank you for that because that's so important. And also agreeing just like, yeah, music is therapy, whether you're the listener, whether you are the artist that's creating it. Like, and I do want to say, because you kind of posed a question there, like, do I say too much in it? No, you don't. Because someone out there needs that. Even if it's kind of like Jay said in prayer, even if it's one person, well, that doesn't matter. Like, they need to hear whatever Nick is going to say.
Absolutely.
They need to hear it from your point of view because maybe to them, they haven't seen representation for that before. And you never know like who's out there, who like your words are really going to impact, and they'll be able to see themselves in you. And I think that's one of the most important things is for us to be able to see ourselves in things, right? Because that's the only way we can relate. So I did want to just touch on that and be like, no, like say what you're saying always, please. Because like no matter what, like it's so important, whether it's you for yourself to be able to like say something and just be in your truth, but you gotta know when you're showing up in authenticity like that, it's bound to impact someone.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And like in the music scene in particular, like there's too many, like almost everybody is like afraid to even touch on that. So like we have to be the driving forces to be like, no, it's okay to open up the conversation here, and it's gonna trickle down.
Yeah, for sure. So before music, like when I was a kid, I did a lot of like poetry, and I wrote a lot of things down. Like I've always been a writer. So, and now like nowadays, I write every day. I have like journals that I write in every day. So I have books of like just my writing, which is like, it's so weird when you look back on it and like say like last year, like I wrote about like what I've been through, and like I reread it, I'm just like, wow, like I really grew a lot, and I kind of like really learned, so yeah. So sorry. Oh, AK's here.
Nice.
Oh, right. Okay.
Hey, bro.
Oh my god,
outside?
I feel like we're in school and you're like, hello.
We've got AK the Don that's about to join us right now.
It's, I don't know if I should say it on the air.
Crispy's.
Yeah.
I can always cut it.
Yeah,
We're
someone's
not live.
No, you're good, bro. You're good.
Thank you for being
someone's coming
respectful
outside.
and mindful.
Yeah. Yeah, no
I
problem.
love that.
I trying to put your house on the air, like, you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's outside. Yeah.
No, thank you for being
I'll get it
mindful. That
closer.
was
Yeah.
that was just smart.
You know who's listening, so.
Yeah.
But for sure, I couldn't.
I was gonna ask too. Do you think, or maybe for the room too, do you think that there is saying too much in music? For example, like sometimes like people don't want to have like their personal business out there. Like I'll use myself for example. Like,
Yeah.
and I've had this conversation with my wife. Like back when we were having our struggles in our marriage. Like I used music to voice that out, and like I never really took her perspective in the sense of like
Hey, how are you?
how she would feel about that information being put out there.
Yeah.
Like to me, I'm like, this is my therapy, and this is me sharing how I'm getting through it.
I don't want to
You're
like.
good. You're right there.
That's good, bro.
You know how I'm.
good?
You know how I'm getting through it, and you know, hopefully inspiring some other people who may be going through similar situations, but just like kind of getting it off of my chest. But then it's like, again, for my wife, it's like, is that something that she wants out there?
Yeah.
You know, in that scenario, you know, obviously if we're speaking about ourselves, you know, we can kind of, we decide what we want to put out there, but like, it's, you know, is there certain scenarios where maybe like, you may want to think about what you're putting out there? And I leave that for the room.
That's such a good point.
I think, like, I mean, if it's a certain topic that, like, you're really not ready to talk about, maybe it's a little too much at that point because you're still trying to process. I don't know. That's what I...
That's such a good question.
You know what I mean? There's certain things that you're not ready to talk about.
Of like what... At what point is it saying too much? Like where is the line for like what we talk about, like whether it's writing music or like music or
or within our creative space, like what is the line that is there a line that is like too far to be like, is there a situation?
I think it would depend on what you're talking about. You know what I mean?
And that's why I brought up the example of my wife and
Right,
I. It's
like
I voice it from my perspective and what we were dealing with, but
Right.
it's like, is that something that she would necessarily want out there like that? Meanwhile, I'm just trying to have my therapy, but at the same time, it's like you're also kind of bringing somebody else into the fold that may not want that information.
Right. Yeah,
oh,
yeah.
you're so
So
right.
If it's like
I would say
personal,
yes and
personal
no.
information.
You know what I mean? And that's the only reason I would say, because like,
I think it's situational.
all right, if I didn't
Yeah.
have Kim and I was a rapper, I'd have no problem. This is what I did. But let's be honest here. I did some stuff in my time that even Kim doesn't know about to this day. He'll never know about. So I wouldn't want him to know about.
Right.
So
or that
I could
situation too. Yeah.
see yes and no. You know what I mean?
For sure.
Maybe it's just finding that fine line of not crossing either or. But you know what I mean? Like walking that tightrope, I guess.
Yeah. If you're holding resentment and like, I mean, you don't want to put like another person on blast. Like, yeah, there's a line to cross right there, I think.
I think you have to be ready to face the quote unquote backlash of what that'll be. Whatever whatever the response is, whether it's yay, whether it's nay. It's like, you know, if you're gonna put it out there, you gotta be ready to take, you know, whatever hits come from that. So if it is something good or if it is something tough and, you know, people respond, you gotta be like, you gotta be okay if somebody knocks you in your teeth, you know, figuratively.
Yeah.
You know, versus, so I don't know.
I think I just I'm always like thinking of things that I can like write from situations in my life. So I feel like I'm so biased and like I do understand where you're coming from in that, but I'm like, I'm too much of a no, you need to write it. Like art needs to be created so that way, again, people can see themselves in it.
Exactly.
People can relate to it. Good, bad, ugly. Like, I actually think the uglier it is, the more it should be written about because we glorify just happiness, like and things, you know? So, like, I think the bad moments you should be transparent about, but I do understand, like, respecting people's privacy.
Yeah.
Just because you write it doesn't mean you have to make it into a song.
True.
That's
you know
true.
what I mean? Like, you'll still mentally, I think you would still get the same relief
Yeah.
Because that's why you started doing it, was
Right.
because a therapist or whatever suggested, hey, try poetry or whatever. So I feel like you'd still get that release from it. You know what I mean? So maybe you can write it, but not necessarily have to put it out.
Right. Yeah. I mean,
make
especially if it
make
goes.
a song, but no, you don't have to put it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just have it for yourself.
No, that actually happened to me. So with the album, there was a song that I was gonna put on the album that it was really about me like struggling with like depression, like heavy though. And there was like really two reasons why I didn't put it out. The first reason was because I didn't like get the beat cleared fully. Secondly, it was just very heavy. It was just like a heavy song. So I was just like really debating whether to even see if I can get the beat like, you know, like cleared for real. And then I kind of was thinking about it and talked to my therapist about it. And I was like, I don't really know if I want everybody to really hear about this. But I feel like when it comes to, you know, making mistakes, we have to understand we're human. We all make mistakes, and I feel like sometimes people can like learn from your mistakes.
Absolutely.
And it just like it helps when someone knows that they're not the only one sometimes. Like, you know, like I mess up a lot, and I have a lot of experiences where I feel like sometimes I don't want to really say too much because I'm used to people holding things against me, and like that's the one thing where I'm just like like I might have to like take a step back a little bit, and it's like the judgment of it really just like can hurt sometimes. So yeah, I feel like when it comes to that, like, you know, you gotta just like know what comes with it, like Jay was saying.
Yeah, definitely.
Sure. Yeah,
Because it's like what you said. It's like you never like. There's certain instances where like you had Happy Kayla. Like you don't want people to see like the other side of you, because then like their perception of you changes.
Exactly.
So it's like again the same thing. It's like if I put this out, if I put this, you know, deep, dark, depressive song or whatever it is and share this information, are people going to think of me differently than the person that they're used to seeing in front of their face?
Yeah.
It's like, you know, kind of what you said
Yeah.
a couple of pods ago.
I think, yeah, because I go to a place of like people won't want that. No one's gonna care, or like, and I don't know where that comes from. But like, yeah, I go to a place of like, if I'm not like happy and bubbly and like, oh my god, what's up? It's Kayla. Like, I just naturally assume like no one's gonna want to deal with that, and like I don't know why I kind of pigeonhole myself, because it's like I would look at someone else and be like, no, you're human. Like humans are multifaceted. Like there are gonna be so many different things, maybe in 1 hour, let alone a whole day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm just a hypocrite on that.
But I mean, like, even if you put something on paper that is just for you, I mean, like we were saying before, like, you know, no one's gonna hear it, but like you got it on paper. It's like, okay, then now I can better pinpoint, you know, what's going on, so that way I can, you know, when it comes time to talk about it, like I'll be able to, you know, bring it out more accurately.
Exactly.
Because it's hard to talk about something when you're in the midst of processing something, but like when you now when you pinpoint stuff, it's like okay, I've taken some time to sit on this. Now, you know, this is exactly what's going on. So now I need to know, you know, what steps I need to take to, you know, get in a better place.
Facts.
So I mean, I ran into a lot of that in 2021, 2019, 2020, 2021. I made an album called Lord Forgive Me, and, you know, it was a lot of, you know, what I was going through mentally.
Yeah.
It was, you know, good and bad. It started off with, like, you know, the most negative things when I was in the darkest place, and then like it progresses into, you know, better.
Yeah.
Where you know, where I was like after making the album. So like in the middle of that, that's when I did like the most processing, and yeah, it helped a lot.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I feel like when it comes to like how people view me, I think a lot about that. Usually my friends, I feel like, would view me as like a happy person.
Yeah.
In general, so sometimes I don't even want to show that side of me of me kind of like being like too vulnerable, I guess, or me just like kind of being upset. And I feel like sometimes I don't really know how to like come to certain people or like really to talk to certain people about certain things, because I'm like, y'all are so used to seeing me like happy or like the life of the party or just like
Like
kind
you
of
haven't
like
seen anything else.
just happy go lucky Nick, you know.
Yeah.
And most of the time I'm not like that. Like I feel like I'm always in my feelings in a way where I feel like when I'm so like, in tune with my emotions now from like therapy and writing, where I'm just like, I think of things way too deep sometimes. Maybe that's just like how my life has turned, I guess, my life. Like, but I feel like it's kind of like a double-edged sword when you know how to process things, but sometimes you think too deeply on those things. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know.
You are speaking to me right now. I'm like, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Even like this.
And like that's like a whole nother thing to to get past. Like now you know what's going on, and now you got to figure out how to get past that.
Mm-hmm.
It's very hard.
Very hard.
Yeah.
It's like one of the hardest things for sure.
Because it's even the simple things, and then you just like dive deep into this like huge rabbit hole, and you're just like, how the heck did I get here? And then like you get the response from whatever that situation is, and it's like it wasn't even that serious.
Right.
Like I just dove into this rabbit hole mentally for no reason, and now I have to like dig myself back out for what?
And it happens. I mean, we're naturally hard on ourselves. We're our worst critics. But that's when you have to recognize, oh shit! Like now I need to reel it back. Like, come on, back to life. Now what's really important? You know what I mean?
So.
Why am I dwelling on this thing when?
I feel you 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
The brain is powerful.
100%.
Thoughts are powerful. If you don't have control over your thoughts, ooh.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I think that's why we get into these creative spaces, because it allows us to at least be able to let that stuff out.
It's true.
It's like I think if we didn't have it, like I don't know where I would be.
I was just
mentally, because like I've written songs like about my dad and that whole situation, and it's like if I didn't have like that to voice, because like I listen back to him now and I'm like, damn, like it takes me back to that moment, but like I know that like I've made it through that moment, so it's like I can experience that moment, but I can still be okay. Within that time period, Whereas before I was like, oh, like I'm here, I'm stuck, I'm never getting out, like I'm never leaving. Whereas like now I'm like, okay, like I've finally like gone through that process of just like I can quote unquote relive that moment, but it's not something that like pains me anymore. It's like, okay, it's just a part of history, it's a part of my past, but it's I can move forward, I can be cool, I can have different thoughts about my dad, that aren't as negative as they were at that moment, and realize like, okay, like that was part of the past, but like just look at where you're at now, and everything is fine, you're not wherever, so just be happy, be happy with that, be cool, and so it's like I think if we didn't have these creative spaces, yikes.
Damn, I don't know what the freak I would do without music, without having anything creative, or I mean, I was blessed with athleticism too. I was a pretty good basketball player. Like if I didn't have that before music, like how else would I cope?
Yeah.
Even now,
because it's hard to just sit there like just in your thoughts, like damn. Because then it feels like, oh shit, like what am I doing now? I'm sorry. I don't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good.
I'm sorry.
Sorry. I'm the one that shouldn't be talking because I'm sitting over here, and that was the whole reason why I was sitting over here, but I can't help it. No, I was saying like even now, like even
anyway, no.
I don't have music.
Put a suck in it.
When you don't have music, like you have basketball, like we have like so many different outlets that we can tap into. We have basketball, we have a podcast, we have music, we have all these different arenas that we can balance out, so that if one thing isn't working for us, it's like, okay, like I have another outlet. Or if you have a therapist, those are great people to talk to, and being able to have that safe space to be able to share those things. It's like we've been able to find a lot of these resources, and there are people that don't find those resources, and that's like where those problems start to kind of like multiply for people like that, when they don't know how to handle it, or they don't have the resources for that, and it sucks.
That's hard.
Yeah, because then you finally catch them like towards like the back end, and it's like I'm already like spiraled down. Like I don't know where else to go at this point. Like, you can give me a therapist, you can give me music, you can give me basketball, but it's like at this point, like it's really not going to help me at this point.
Yeah.
That's why mental health is such a crisis, because it's like, I never want to say the phrase like too late, like I don't mean it like that. Yeah, but so for lack of a better way to put it, I just feel like by the time people like really actually get the chance to start addressing things, well, your trauma's probably been compounded like times 20. Like you've probably been like, you know what I mean, halfway down certain paths and then reeled back, and like so many times, you know, it's like I wish that. But I do understand the reality of like also like barriers, like there just being a lot of barriers in between like us and the help that we need. But it's just sad that, yeah, by the time we get there, sometimes it's just like, you know, you're years into something that, you know, would have been nice if you could have had the resources like sooner type deal.
Yeah.
Well, it's because we're reactive. We're not proactive when it comes to this stuff.
Oh no, Jay, I have no clue what you're talking about.
It's like, oh, you have mental health? Oh, let's help you out now. Instead of being like, hey, this is how you can, you know, before you're even down that rabbit hole, here's how you can manage your mental health.
Right.
It's like things that we do with our teens. It's like was it February? February is Teen Dating Violence Awareness Month, to give you an example.
Yeah.
And instead of being like, oh, like, I mean, we do give statistics about it, but like the way we address it is, this is how you have a healthy relationship. It isn't like, oh, this is how you respond to teen dating violence. This is how you're supposed to act with either a friend or if you're in a relationship. And this way you limit, I don't want to say you completely avoid, but you limit what a bad relationship, you getting yourself into a bad relationship.
Yeah.
Or you can see what a bad relationship looks like and be like, not for me, I'm going to move on and find something else. That's going to, be better. But like, we're just in this world that's so reactive that it's like, oh, something happens, now let's help. It's like, why aren't we doing things prior to that? Why aren't we showing kids how to handle their mental health? Why aren't we showing kids, all these different tools? And then, and it's on the parents too, because like, again, we do stuff at my job and we're like, hey, like we're doing this mental health thing to help kids. You don't have to have mental health problems or whatever. And I hate to use the word problems, but again, lack of a better word, but it's like the parents aren't pushing the kids to do it. Yeah. And then all of a sudden the kids are, having mental health, they're in their mental health, and then like, oh, I don't know what happened. I don't know, where are all the resources? It's like,
you have to.
We were trying to help you before. Yeah. Like, where were you when we were trying to help you guys before? But you guys wanted to, I don't know. I'm not a parent. I don't want to voice for parents, but
no, emotional regulation should be taught in schools, like early, like at an early age.
There's a lot of shit that should be taught in schools that they don't.
It's like we talked last. It's like we said last one. It's like, like math and all these other subjects are great, but it's like you're not teaching these kids to be able to manage life. In general, again, building relationships, social, emotional wellness, like none of that stuff is happening unless you go to like a Boys and Girls Clubs outside of school, and it's like that's if you can afford the membership. That's if you can make it over there. If you can catch the bus. If your parents can even get out of work to get you over there. It's like there's so many other factors, but it's like if you can hit them at least when they're in school, the place that they're legally supposed to be. You gotta kind of nip it in the bud and stop with the like, oh, after school class. Like, no, put that in the curriculum.
I was gonna say it's like just kind of from working in a school now, it's just good to see. Okay, like some students have the social emotional like classes and stuff, so it's good that
I got you. That's why I'm here.
No, you're good. I can hear you.
Oh, that's so funny. Okay, sorry.
You sound like that.
My fault.
Yeah, and I just did a pod yesterday. I got another stuff, but it's good to see them in a school, that they're attempting to make the effort. Granted, it's all the way in Arlington, and I feel like it would be beneficial if I don't know how the Boston public schools are, but if they had that same resource as well, because man, I think like kind of like what you guys were saying, to where you gotta start them young, so that it's a lot easier for them to learn the skills while they're young, and then as opposed to like unlearning stuff like while they're, because unlearning is so much. It's so hard. It's so hard. So like, because most of us already have our minds made up, so our habits are in place. So to go in and have to rewire everything to say, oh no, this thinking like, or this, the way you process this, like we gotta take a step back. We can't think like that anymore because it's not productive, I guess.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like, yeah, it's yeah, that's
And like a lot of us are taught to like suppress. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So
There's kids where like, you know, certain adults, like whoever it is, like they'll notice that a kid is going through something and it's sad, but like they're just like, ah, you're fine. You know.
For real. They just brush it off.
Well, and I'm sure you dealt with that being men, too.
Absolutely,
Like,
absolutely. It's like
sure
that.
society has.
It's like that all the
programmed
time. It's like I don't know. Like we are as human as anybody else, and like we're allowed to, you know, express. You know, if we're pissed off, we're allowed to express it. Like why should we? You know what I mean?
Or sad, or like
Yeah,
grieving.
anything.
Like
Like
whatever.
like sometimes I'll raise my voice just a little bit, not even mad, and then someone will just be like, "What are you mad for?" Like,
Just speaking up. But
no,
that's any-
I'm not. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm not mad. I'm just like for me, like I mean, I've said this before. It's like I talk really low. So like when I raise my voice, like it sounds like I'm yelling, but it's like
Yeah.
no, like I'm just speaking.
I'm just
really
talking so you
loud.
can hear me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just Italian. I'm allowed.
I know. I was like, my talk voice is yelling, so I don't really know if There's not really a difference for me.
But there's got to be spaces for people, for anybody, to be able to express their feelings. Because like sometimes, like when girls come out of character, oh, she's just a crazy insert word here.
Yeah.
You know, it's like no, she just could really just be upset.
Yeah.
And like this is just how she has
I hate that.
learned how to express those feelings.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like
You should probably see if that person's okay.
Right.
Check on that
You
person.
know,
there is a reason.
Great
that's
point.
the
Like
first reaction.
why? Great
It's
point.
a lot of us think it. It's like, are you okay? I'm thinking like, is this person okay? But like, they don't want to. You know what I mean?
For real.
Thank you for making that point. There are so many times when really a wonderful follow-up question would just be like, hey, you all right?
Yeah.
Like,
Do you need anything?
like, are you all right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even an additional one, like no, like for real.
Right.
Are you good?
Are you
Because
good?
like again with the teens, like sometimes like no, I'm good. I'm like no, like for real. And they're like, and then they start like you know kind of getting into it. It's like no, like trying to like not force them, but letting them know like it's cool to say what you need to say. And I tell them too. I'm like we try not to have them swear at our job, just you know be respectful. But I'm like if we need to go in a if we need to go into
If you need to swear, kid, just let it out.
You're the one
No, but for
fueling the
real.
swear jar life.
I'll be like, yo, if we need to go in like, you know, a separate room, obviously with like accountability.
Yeah.
Put myself in that position, but like,
Right, yeah,
if
yeah,
we need to go in a
obviously.
separate room and like you need to just like let out how you feel and you need to swear, you need to like we'll grab a pillow, you need to punch a pillow, like let's get this out and then like let's have that talk because
Yeah.
like I'd rather you do that in kind of this safer environment than you like go try to knock somebody's head off or do something to yourself or hold it in.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like I would rather you do that than obviously the many other negative effects that can happen.
Yeah.
So it's like give people some space, and then too, if they start punching walls or punching pillows, it's like, all right, I understand that you're punching pillows. This may not be the best option for you. I'm letting you do this now so you can get the anger out. This may not be the best option for you, but here's some here's other ways that you can do it. So like you can use it as a teachable moment too, like let them get
Right.
it out, but then
Yeah.
also okay, you're not always gonna have a pillow. It could be a wall. It could be, you know, and not all walls are plaster that you can put your hand through. Sometimes you go,
Breaking.
Punch your
Yeah.
knee by
Yeah.
wall, that hurts.
Oh yeah.
dude, I
Definitely.
did it with a steering wheel one time, and then I looked at my hand, and my hand swelled out to like here, and I was like, I didn't know I could do that,
Yeah.
and I was like, this is a problem, and I was luckily I reflected on it. I was like, I didn't know I could go that far, or like do that to myself. So I was like, I need to like really think about like,
It's like, wow, I really shouldn't have done that.
literally, I was like, that was dumb.
Yo, I was in, well, not to like, bring us away from the topic at hand here, but when I was in middle school, like we were playing dodgeball, I got pissed off. And, like there was like a stack of mats right there. I thought I was gonna have a soft landing. I'm like, all right, bet. Well, boom! Fucking, I didn't break my hand, but like I probably sprained it.
Yeah.
Like, damn.
Bet you learned your lesson.
Okay,
The
like
stuff we
that
do
wasn't
for
good. That wasn't good.
How many phones I've broken?
But lesson learned.
Oh my goodness, that was like my go-to thing. I would throw my phone, and then I was like, Kayla, why are you doing this to yourself? How many phones? are
Now you
gonna
need a new
break?
phone. Now you gotta
Like,
pay
seriously.
like $1,500 for a new
not only
iPhone.
are you mad and like displaying awful behavior, now you're giving yourself just one more reason to be even more mad.
Yeah.
And I'm like inconveniencing myself. Like, why would you?
What
do
am I doing to myself?
Right.
What? Why did
Crazy.
I do
What is the
that?
consequence of it?
If only I was if only I was taught emotional regulation in school.
Honestly.
Yeah, I just had a kid this past week. We were playing basketball. Like before we started playing, he was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna take it easy because I got baseball and I don't want to like hurt myself or whatever." And he's like me, like or me back in the day, like when I would play basketball and my team is losing and I'm missing shots, like you get pissed.
You get
You're
mad.
like, "Yo," and you start driving harder, whatever. And he's like, you can see it building up. And what does he do? He goes up for a layup. He misses the layup. He runs into the wall and he hurts his knee. I'm like,
Ooh.
you let your anger get the best of you. I'm like, I know because I've been there where I'm like, and then I go and injure myself for something stupid, and I'm like, dude, we're just playing like basically pickup basketball. Is it really like worth like you busting your knee over or getting mad at
Yeah.
over just like a pickup game, dude? Like,
Not for real. Like it's crazy. Like I feel like with anger, I handle it so much better now. Like we're going to the gym, and I just lift until I can't lift anymore. You know, and it's crazy because I'm naturally a really emotional person, and like my friends are like, oh, like you need to chill before like people take advantage of that, because like, you know, when you really like kind of show yourself to people, like, you know, like they really could. I'm just naturally a nice guy, like, and the world does not reward nice people. Like the world will eat you up, spit you out, like, and I feel like over the course of the years, like, you know, being in relationships or like having some friendships that failed or whatever, like, you know, you kind of have to harden yourself a little bit. And like I feel like there's a lot of suppressed things for like, especially like men, like, you know, like we suppress a lot because, you know, we don't want to be like told like, oh man, like, yo, tighten up, like, or
What
like,
a hothead.
Yeah, you're a hothead, or like whatever everybody says, like, you know, what are other things that people say, like
It's too much
stop being a B
testosterone in the
word or
room.
whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like there's so
masculinity.
toxic masculinity. There's so many different things, and like I feel like that's kind of where the fine line kind of cuts, where it's like, okay, like, yeah, like you can kind of you can be kind of emotional, but like how are people going to perceive like what you put out if that emotion is not what they're expecting, or like I guess like want you to they don't understand, I guess, you know.
Yeah.
So
They don't understand.
Yeah.
And they don't want to understand.
they don't. Yeah. So
because your response isn't their response.
exactly.
And it's like,
Oh, I feel like a lot of people, that weighs on the person's emotional intelligence, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, like, if people are not showing up in authenticity with themselves and they really don't allow themselves to feel the myriad of emotions that we feel as humans, how could you ever expect them to look at you displaying certain behaviors and be like, oh, I think that person might be in the 7th step of grieving? No, because they're not acknowledging what they're going through. You know what I mean? So
Right.
it's going to be really hard for someone,
Of
most people, to like attune and understand. Like,
and
what
of
you're-
course, like some reactions are gonna be worse because, well, if you're seeing somebody react in a certain way for the first time, like you don't know what they've been through before, you know, maybe nobody else has heard them out, so like it, you know, they didn't have anywhere to go to, you know, let that out in a healthy way.
Exactly.
So it's like seeing that, it's like you might think, oh, what's wrong with this person? Like I'm gonna stay away because I'm not gonna let anybody ruin my night, but like. It's just mental health is real, guys. You know,
It
it's
is.
you know.
but you could be that one person that gives them that wake up call, like just having that conversation.
Yeah.
Because probably the whole time they've been brushed off.
Right.
Just like, oh, I'm not
It's like, hey, like let's go outside for a little bit. Like you don't want to get kicked out, so you know, just tell me what's going on.
Yeah.
You know,
And
like
fun.
if you're out with your boys, with your friends, whatever, like you gotta be that person to, you know, calm them down. You know what I mean?
Like just finding those positive outlets, whatever that is for you. You know, like one of my best friends like plays video games. Like, you know, other people, you know, like find like creative things like music or like art or whatever, and you know, just find those ways to actually like, you know, kind of think about what's going on, but also have an escape from like the world. You know, because sometimes like it's just, if you don't quiet your mind, you know, like it's always on. That's like the hardest thing. You can't sleep. Like you can't eat sometimes.
Physically can't, right.
You can't feel like how you don't feel like fulfilled. And I feel like, you know, at the end of the day, like I feel like I used to always want to be happy, but I want peace. Like I feel like peace is such a important thing that, you know, happiness fades, but if you're at natural peace with like your situation, what's going on in life, you really kind of just like understand that you're just grateful for whatever comes your way, and like then you have those coping skills to like kind of like, you know, get through that storm.
Yeah,
you know,
for sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. No matter what the situation is, like you said, like you could, like we've said it before, it's like you could be in a storm and still be at peace. You know what I mean? It's like, because you can understand, like, okay, like it's raining outside, but like I know that all I have to do is get an umbrella and I'll be cool.
And you'll be good.
You know?
Or
Whereas
just-
other people
or just
are like, oh my god, it's raining!
What do we do?
I'm wet.
The
My
world is
clothes are wet.
ending.
Yeah.
Like, well, you got that umbrella though.
Yeah.
It's symbolic, but you got that umbrella. You're good. Like you're like, okay, like it's raining around, but I'm dry.
Yeah,
You know, my shoes might get a little wet, but you know, like I'm good.
yeah.
You know.
I got to where I needed to go. You know, it's just 3 seconds to, you know, inside wherever.
You're good.
But
Yeah.
that's
Good.
like the crazy extent. That
Or you can just throw on a bathing suit and just fucking run and
Yeah.
out and then fucking, fuck it.
Just
I'm
enjoy it.
Enjoy
you know what I
it.
mean?
Enjoy
I don't
the
have to shower
pain.
anymore.
Yeah. You know. I listened to this. I don't know if y'all heard of David Goggins. He's like this Marine, and he's like
Yes.
so hard. Like he's like, but he's been through a lot to get to that point. And you know, he's always like, enjoy that pain. Like enjoy that pain. That means you're living. And you know, I think about that a lot. Like, you know, going after, like, for example, going to the gym, like, and I hate leg days. Leg days are the worst days of all. I don't care what anybody says. Leg days
Well, yeah, 'cause
just
you always
suck.
have to use them. You gotta walk.
Exactly.
You can just lay him down by your side and not give a fuck. You know what I mean? You
Like,
gotta walk,
for
motherfucker.
real. Like, even today, like, I did leg day on Sunday. My legs are still hurting, and I have to climb things, and I have to, like, go up hills and whatever. And I'm just like,
You can
okay.
walk like there's no problem, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But that is when you tap into something else. When you have to, when you know you have to do something when it's gonna be good for you. You have to tap into something else. Bring out that killer instinct. Bring out that black mamba.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Get through it, man. Enjoy
Like
that
they
pain.
for real though, 'cause
Yeah.
I got a truck up front, and I be like, so I work out in the morning, and I'll drive to work after I work out, and then me like trying to like slide out the truck,
Yeah.
like crush my legs as I you know step off the truck. I'm like, yo, I can't move, man.
So real.
But like when you bug up and do it, like it feels good afterwards.
It
You know
feels
what I mean?
good.
It's like, okay, I got through that. Whew, I'm
Yeah.
good.
You're getting stronger. That's what it means. Like,
Yeah.
that pain, you know, it means that you're working.
Yeah.
It means that you're doing something that, you know, sometimes, I feel like sometimes, too, like, some people don't really know, you know, that pain, because it's, like, pain's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Some people don't want to, like, actually feel that pain because they know that you're going to feel uneasy, you know, and it's a process, and you'll get through it, but, you know, pain is a blessing at the end of the day.
Yeah.
It means you're living, you know.
Pain is
Like,
temporary though.
Yeah.
That too. It's like
Yeah.
I scare the kids at work, and you know they jump and stuff. I'm like, oh, little heart attack, let you know you're alive, huh?
Yeah.
I'm like, you need it sometimes.
You need
like,
it.
Well, wake you up, let
For
you know you're
sure.
still here. So it's
You're funny.
but yeah, I mean, people just struggle, and it's sad. It's sad to see that, and that's why we try to share our stories through music or our platforms, whatever it be, acting, even photography. You can share a lot of different stuff, and obviously podcasting too, sharing these stories. Like that's why we sit here and do this every single week. 'Cause, you know, hopefully again that one person hears that and is like, oh, okay, that makes sense. All right, I'm not the only one that's, you know, maybe going through some stuff right now.
For real.
Yeah.
For real.
If I can, so I know when y'all were talking.
You can't say that.
But you know, I kind of came in when y'all were talking about that, and something that kind of came into my head was, you know, as a consumer, like, you know, I listen to a lot of music, so for me, I know I'll resonate with an artist more when they're a lot more open. Like I know I've heard tracks and I'm like they're putting out, you know, deep stuff, and it's like they're being open, they're being vulnerable, and to me, I listen to that and I'm like, okay, you're being real. I appreciate that. So I'm gonna I'm growing more as your fan because of how open you were with me. You know,
Right.
So I know that you guys were talking about like it might be hard to do as a consumer and appreciator of music. I don't know if that's whatever, but
sounds fancy.
Sounds great.
Appreciate hair.
I know, right?
Tear.
But yeah, like you know, I'm always gonna encourage people to like to be open, to be vulnerable. Like, even if you like, if it is something that you feel like is too much, like, you know, maybe hold on to it. But if you're like, oh, maybe I should do it.
Absolutely.
Like,
Sometimes it sparks in people. Maybe I should be a motivational speaker. Do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like there was times like, you know, recording in the past where I was really like crying in the booth, like, and I'm just like, bruh, like, good thing I had my engineer at the time, like he understood that, like, you know, like what I'm talking about, like the message, like understood like the vibe, and he just let me process that. He's like, yo, bro, like take as long as you need, like, you know, like, I think he gave me an extra hour, you know, just because like it was just, you know, and I had a lot of gratitude for that, but yeah, like sometimes when I'm being really real, it's like I kind of can't cheat myself, you know, like I gotta give myself the platform to do that for me, you know, like, and maybe it can like inspire other people, and like it can like help, you know, what someone's going through, because I feel like the music I put out is like, it's just my life. It's like I don't talk about like, you know, like secular things like money and like women. I don't do that. So it's like, and drugs, I don't do that. But, you know, it's like when you talk about real stuff and it's real to you, like I feel like you have a different appreciation for it, and like it stands deeper, and like, you know, I feel like people remember, you know, like, I forgot who said this, but people remember how you make them feel, you know.
People don't remember what you say. People don't always remember what you say, but they always remember how you make them feel.
So yeah, I try to do that, and I feel like with music, you know, people, you know, sometimes people just like listen to the beat, you know, there's some times where I'm just vibing to the beat, and like the beat goes hard. I'm like, yo, like that beat go crazy, and then I'm like, what are they really saying? You know, like what's the content, like what's the message in it, like, you know, like some of the best songs, like the best beats, like just ain't saying nothing.
No.
You know.
Yeah, I've reflected back on like a lot of music that I used to listen to, and I'm like, yo, this song was fire. And then like I started really like tuning into the words, and I'm like, yo, this is like,
it's crazy.
Banana. I'm like, yo.
Why was I listening to this at 8 years old? That was so inappropriate.
I've been doing that a lot lately because like we talked about this in the group chat the other day. Like I really haven't listened to like secular music in I think almost a month, and like A, never thought that would be a sentence out of my mouth, and B, yeah, like it just was like, so now because like I love dance hall, and so like I remember there was one day I was like walking at the boulevard, and I put on my dance hall playlist, and because obviously the beats are like fire, so you're like yes, but then I started listening to the words, and I was like, what?
I got some songs to think about.
But like, why am I listening to this though? Like, it is not. It's awful. Thank God I found you like sent me that song. Like, I don't know. It sounds like Christian Dembo. Like, I don't know. It was just awesome. I was like, yes, I've actually found and thanks to you, like a lot of like Christian answers to the music that I thought that I was like going to miss. I'm sure that makes sense to you.
Same.
So like I'm so happy that I found like the Christian counterparts, but like man, once you start listening to those lyrics though, you're like, and this is what I was pumping into my subconscious. Like what am I doing?
Yo, that's why I love listening to KB now.
KB?
Like,
KB was hard.
every
KB
single
was hard.
song on his latest
KB was
album,
crazy.
that's my gym song. Like,
A lot of
holy
those beats
shit!
remind
The
me
next
of
song
you,
comes
like-
on. Oh my god, let's go! The next song comes on is like shit, and it's
KB?
impactful. It has
Send me his profile.
it has heavy substance.
Yeah.
You know, they're like all like, you know, really trappy instrumentals, but like he's
God,
talking
glory
about
to
something.
glory,
Like he's
like,
praising. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like, and I feel like I listen to like artists like Lecrae and like and
I love
Hovey and
Lecrae.
like, you know,
Hovey's
KB and Andy Mineo, like just artists like that. I'm a Christian too, so like, you know, I feel like I have there's times where I'm just like I fall back into listening to like real like secular music, and like, you know, sometimes I'm like I just need to like listen to gospel right now, like, you know what I'm saying, or just like whatever, just like something soft. Like I also like instrumentals, like, you know.
Me too.
Like
lo-fi.
Oh,
Yeah,
like,
Do you
yeah,
notice
lo-fi
a
instrumental.
difference in how you feel
I do.
when you go back?
I do.
Cause like, okay, thank you. Cause
You do.
I definitely did for myself, and I was like, oh, this is, well, obviously you don't notice something till you like kind of get away from it a little bit, right? Until you like remove yourself.
Yeah.
So I really didn't notice it, and like now I actually don't miss it. Like there's not much that I miss, because I feel like, you know, there's. For every artist you think you're gonna miss, there's a Christian artist that
There's always a
has that
replacement.
similar vibe. I'm sorry, what were you gonna say?
No, I was just gonna say, like, I deleted all my, like, I guess you could say, like, secular playlists. Like, I had like, you know, I had like rap, hip hop, R&B. Like, I deleted all of them, and it was hard. Like at first, because I was like, oh, like I'm gonna miss all this music. And then Janaya, who we interviewed just a little while back, she sent me like 3 different playlists. Like some was like worship music, which again, this is just like that relaxing music, or just, you know, if you want to worship. And then there was like, you know, the lo-fi. There was like hip hop, you know, to dance hall, to like, and I was like, yo, I didn't know that. Like,
Right?
down, like you don't think like you get down like that, but it's like it's a new era, and it's still, you know, praise. It's still worship. It's still talking about the same topic, and it's like. And it sounds fire. Like, I've heard, like, J. Cole, like, you know, similar people. And I'm like, yo, I didn't think that would be possible. I've heard, like, Drake, you know, like, similar people. Not that I was really into Drake, but, like, still, like, having those, like, comparisons, you're just like, oh, okay, like, it's not as hard a transition as I thought it would be.
Yeah.
You just got to dive deep a little bit. But, I mean, that's what we did when we first initially started.
Exactly.
Too,
Yeah.
so
It's worth it too.
It's not,
No, that's real. Like, I feel like with me, like, kind of, like, moving into, like, still, like, creating more, like, I feel like a lot of my songs that I made, they could be perceived in ways where, like, you know, I'm not really too proud of sometimes, where I'm just like, like, I made that, yeah, sure. I want to have, like, a more positive message, I feel like, with, like, future projects and stuff. But, yeah, like, I still do listen to secular music sometimes, I can't even lie. Like, I listened to that, like, the Future album that just dropped, like, and there's a whole bunch of, like, controversy with Drake, and, like, it's a whole bunch of craziness, but, I feel like, you know, moving forward with, like, you know, like, creating, I want to be, like, have, like, a more positive message, you know, like, and I feel like I want to talk more about, like, hope instead of just, like, sorrow that I've been through, and it's, like, that's, like, the one thing, I want to push out positivity, and, like, not that I wasn't before, but, like, I feel like it was a lot of just, like, stuff I was going through that was, like, negative.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
That's gonna naturally.
Yeah,
be
I was writing that way for a while too, but I'm like, yo, like, I mean, yeah, I dig these lyrics. These are some of the best lyrics I've written, but, like, how do I turn this into a positive now? You know what I mean? Okay, maybe I can switch this around. Now this is heading into the direction that I should be going. You know what I mean?
It's weird. Like, I feel like sometimes, like, I was really like, thinking, like, and when I was, like, writing, I was really like, how can I feel like sometimes I can't make, like, positive music. It's so weird. Like, do y'all feel the same way? Like, because, like, I was feeling that way for a while when I'm just like, you know, my process of making music is like, okay, like, I find a beat and then like, you know, I usually like have like a chorus and come up with like a concept, and like then you know, like a hook, and I'm like, okay, like I'm in the car like vibing to this beat, and then I put my lyrics behind it. And like sometimes I feel like when I'm trying to do something like real positive, it doesn't stick well like with me, like, and I'm all about like, you know, the vibe of the song. I don't try to force it.
Yeah.
And there's times where like I rewrite verses over and over again because I'm just not satisfied.
Yeah.
And like I struggle with like making like such like positive music, which is like something that I need to like work on as an artist and like build that up.
Yeah.
And that's been like kind of like difficult for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be like, you know, in the place you are now, you know what I mean? Like you're, you know, in upward direction. There's still some things that that you need to get off your chest.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, again, it is because like, I mean, I don't know how else to explain it.
We talked about this on Pastor's episode of like you almost feel like your only like good art comes from like this like despair or something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
We always remember
Like-
the hard stuff. We never like, we have more descriptive memories of the hard stuff, but the happy stuff, it's like a fleeting moment.
Because like
Type of thing.
I did this in my own way with acting of like I fell into this place of a lot of the roles that I was accepting, and I almost felt like I needed to play in order to like do like a good job or whatever.
Yeah.
Like we're just like characters that were like actively unraveling, experiencing some sort of like mental health something, and are just, you know, in one of the stages of grief or like are just like really like narcissistic ugly anger. And it's it was just like weird. It was like just this pocket of time where I felt like all I could do was play like ugly characters. And I don't mean ugly like aesthetically, I mean like emotionally. Just undeveloped people.
Yeah.
And I don't know why, like, it just, I don't know why that was, like, resonating so hard, or, like, that's the only thing I felt like I could do, like, a good job at. It's like, well, no. Because if you think of it, which is a good thing, because if you're able to convey those emotions, right, and if you're able to, like, resonate with yourself and, like, other people on that tip, well, obviously flip the other side of the coin, and of course you can do the same thing, but on a more positive note, because you've already shown that you have that depth. You're just moving in the opposite direction. Does that make sense?
Makes sense, for sure.
So it's like, of course, like, yeah, I could do a great job in a comedy. Of course you could do a great job writing, like, a fun, positive song. I think we just get so wrapped up in this, oh, well, I can, like, only create if I'm sad, or, like, whatever it is.
Yeah.
That's facts.
And
Yeah.
it's like, well, no, because we're doing ourselves an injustice by accident. I think it's important to, like you did, like, already create these songs and kind of like we were talking about earlier, like, it's important to put a face to that. It's important to, like, represent that, because one of your listeners out there is going to be like, oh, wow, I feel so seen right now. Like, I feel so heard. So, yes. But at the same time, it's like, well, artists naturally progress, right? So, like, sorrow turns into hope, or sometimes it's vice versa, or, like, despair has to turn into happiness at some point, right?
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
something's got to give at some point, right? So
It's what we need, you know, as a consumer. We want to be able to digest that as well, because I mean, even if you're in a great place, it takes a lot of courage to go back to, you know, a darker time, just to show that, like, okay, you know, I was there before too. Like, this is how I got out. You can too, you know.
For sure. I totally agree. Like, yeah, I just want to, I feel like for me, like, my next chapter with a lot of things is, like, really, like, talking about, because I told y'all I journal every day, but I feel like sometimes, like, with my journal, I try to focus on the good things, you know, and, like, I try to say at least, like, one positive thing that happened in the day. Like, just one thing, at least. And I feel like sometimes I find it hard, and then, like, if I can't think of anything, I'm like, okay, like, I'm alive still, though.
Yeah.
You know, and it's, like, it's simple, but I like things being very simple. I'm, like, a simple person, so, like, sometimes the most simple things, like, make me happy. Like, you know, sometimes, like, you know, even, like, like it's like food sometimes. Most of the time, like it's always like
Oh,
on Thursdays.
absolutely.
I always get kava, and that makes me happy. And I'm like, all right, good. Or sweet green.
Looks so good.
Try it.
Because I
Where
did
Kava?
DoorDash for like
Kava.
literally like 3 nanoseconds, and I had to pick up an order there, and that place looks so bomb.
So good. It's so good.
What
It's
do
like,
you get?
I'm vegetarian, so I usually get like the falafel thing. So it's full. I get like rice, falafel, like vegetables, arugula, avocado,
That
some
sounds
feta.
bomb.
Oh, that does sound pretty
Like
good.
yeah, it's
yeah.
bomb.
I
It's,
love
it's
falafel.
dope. Or sweet green, it's like kind of like the same thing. I get tofu instead of like chicken.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah,
That sounds
it's
bomb.
bomb. I love it.
Sorry, I'm super foodie. I'm like, wow.
I'm a foodie
what
too,
do you
though.
get? Describe every bite.
What are the ingredients?
Nah, I'm a foodie. Like
Do you use 1 tablespoon?
I know, literally. Well, most
I'll
of the
use
time
3.
I'm like chomping here on the podcast. So,
I'm a foodie for real. Like, yeah, it's like, yeah, I feel like sometimes like people are like, oh yeah, you're vegetarian. You can't like eat as much as like we do, or like you can't eat
What?
as good as. But I'm like, nah. I found my options. Like,
you definitely
Oh, come
can.
on.
I be eating.
Those
You
people
definitely
that,
can.
those people that say you don't eat protein. Well, yeah, I eat
Yeah, I
protein, but
gotta
it's
eat
not meat.
protein.
It's just not meat.
Yeah,
Right,
you
like-
know, like I eat
There's
protein.
other sources.
I'm allowed, all right.
Yeah, stuff like that.
How long have you been vegetarian?
For a while now. It's been like 4 years.
Oh, wow.
Like, it's been like
Okay.
like.
Good for you.
Yeah, my mom's like vegan, so like she's been
That's-
like vegan for like before it was cool. Like she's been
Wow.
vegan. Like,
Okay,
yeah.
so she's gonna live forever.
Yeah, she's healthy. Like yeah, she's actually retiring this year, and like she's kind of focused on like the next phase of her life, which is cool.
Congratulations to mom. That's
yeah,
awesome.
She's dope. Like,
God bless her.
She's an amazing woman. She like made me like honestly into like the best human being I possibly could be just because of her. But yeah, like she went through a lot. She's a single mom, and like she like made the. You knew it?
I knew
Yeah,
it.
I give off that vibe, maybe. I don't know.
'Cause you said like you were like kind of a maybe I'm categorizing everybody, but like you
No,
said
no,
like
you-
before like being emotional, like kind of overly emotional. I'm come from a single mom too.
Yeah.
I'm definitely over emotional, and I
Oh.
know that's
That's like, oh, we can talk about it then. All right, so I feel like I don't want to categorize all like men that come from single moms,
Correct.
like a single parent household,
Okay.
but I feel like for me, I tend to be overly emotional, and like there was a time in my life where I felt like women could do no wrong because I like look at my mom in such a positive way, and that like really in relationships that really screwed me because I'm like nah, she's perfect though.
Didn't I say that?
She's perfect
Didn't
though.
I say that?
This is so
Didn't I say
weird.
that?
Whoa.
I would always
whoa.
look at me. I was like, what did I do wrong?
I
and why
am
is
the wrong
relationship-
one.
We just had
but
this
I thought like
conversation.
I'm like nah, like
guilty of
she's
that,
too
yeah.
perfect
so
though.
it's not me.
And I stayed in a lot of things though. I stayed in a lot of things because I'm like, oh, like there's a lot of things, and my best friend is always like, bro, like you need to understand, like a lot of things has nothing to do with you. Like sometimes it's them, and like it took me so long to really even understand. It can be like, no, it's probably her sometimes. Like I'm not perfect either, but like sometimes not. It's really her. Like, and I feel like coming from like looking like at like I'm like, wow, like women can do no wrong. I thought that for so long. Where like my mom did a good job not painting my father as being like a bad person. Like he did that on his own.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, I felt like that's why I stayed in so many relationships because like I felt like women can do no wrong, and it's always me. And
Yep.
yeah, like it scarred me for a while.
Always had to
Like
be in a
still,
relationship.
always had to be, and I'm like I'm kind of like in that phase where I'm just like nah, like I can be single, like like, and I feel like like the relationships I had, like those girls, they're fine, like and I wish them the best, and like they're great people, and I know they are, but I feel like it just wasn't compatible. Like
Right.
there's like we're on different paths, like we're doing different things, and yeah, like this is a single mom thing. So you get me, you feel me? Like it's
Wow.
I thought like sometimes it's like I feel like I'm the only one, but I'm like nah, like sometimes it's not me. Like sometimes it's you,
Yeah.
respectfully.
Yeah,
Of
respectfully.
course,
Yeah.
of course.
Yeah,
Yeah.
any of my exes, I'm like, I hope y'all are good. I hope y'all are
Yeah.
good. Like, I care less. I'm married, happy, and
No hard feelings.
that's what it is.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Because they're moving on with their lives too. So it's like I can't be like, oh no, don't move on with your life.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Yeah.
Right.
Nah, that's crazy though. Like that was a connection right there. Like nah, I was like,
was like,
So not a lot of people feel me though.
I was like, yep.
Like, yeah,
Yep.
like, cause
Everything.
a lot of my friends, like, you know, they got like good stable homes that they came from. I had a great stable home. I'm lucky. Like, I'm lucky. My mom gave us everything like that she possibly could to make us successful. And like for me, I wasn't the best at school, but like yeah, she really fought for me to be like, you know, in the position I am now, where I'm successful now, like in my own right, of what I feel like success is for me. But yeah, like a lot of people aren't really like, they have a lot of like lasting, like, you know, hatred for like their fathers or something or whatever. And I feel like, you know, for me, I could have, because, you know, sometimes he's not the best person, but like I even called him last week, like to just see how he's doing. You know, I'm trying to like grow as a person, and I grow as a man too, and I don't want to repeat cycles.
Yeah.
So that's what comes with like breaking that. And it's like sometimes it's hard because I know like he lies a lot, and I'm like, he be lying to me every single time we talk, really, and I'm just like but you know, I still respect him, you know, just because he's my biological father, you know. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we got a little deep, but you know, I'm a deep guy, so.
Hey, there's nothing to be ashamed about, because I'm
Yeah.
sure someone's gonna listen and be like, "Oh, wow!" It's the same thing you said, like,
Yeah.
"Oh, I'm not alone." Sometimes I feel alone.
Yeah.
You know what
Yeah,
I
for
mean?
sure.
Like, I think people should be allowed to get deep, and people should be allowed to be vulnerable without having to make a statement after. You're in a safe space, dude. We can talk about whatever you want.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I really
Not to sound rude and like I'm correcting you.
No,
either, 'cause I don't
you're
mean
good.
to,
You're
but
good.
it's like,
yeah.
you should be allowed to express that without having to like almost undercut it with a statement. No, you're good.
Yeah.
And we were just having this conversation,
That's crazy, though.
so
That's
that
crazy,
is
though.
wild.
Yeah.
Like, wow.
Yeah.
And I also want to say, just like, to have the mindfulness and wherewithal to like sit where you're sitting and like speak of your bio dad like in that light. It just shows your emotional intelligence. It just shows like your character, and I think that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, it took a while, because, you know, I feel like really so like my father, he has a lot of children, you know, like, and there was a lot of times where like he kind of like made us like really turn against each other in a way. Like, I don't know what the deal was, but I feel like now I try to have a better relationship with like all the siblings like I know of, and like that are like similar to me in like age, or like closer to me in like vicinity. But yeah, it just took time like to like really realize and accept people for who they are, and like to meet them where they're at. Like sometimes like you can't change people when they're like really in their way of like, you know, you're like I don't know, like middle aged, and like you kind of like are stuck in your ways, and now like I don't want to have to change like who you are. I just want to like meet you where you're at and see like I just listen nowadays to people. I don't even talk sometimes.
Yeah.
I'm
I
an
think
observer.
that's such
Yeah.
a beautiful
Yeah.
statement you said that like needs to be repeated, of like meeting someone where they are at.
Yeah.
So important. We need to remember that. We need to be more mindful of that, like as a society, because it's like, yeah, I could sit over here and be like, well, why don't you come over here then? It's like, no, stop being so stubborn.
Yeah.
If you have the wherewithal to meet someone where they're at, why aren't you doing it? Like, you know what I mean? Like, don't sit there and say, and be stubborn and say, oh, well, no, it's like, I shouldn't have to. Because I feel like we get to a place of entitlement of like, oh, well, I shouldn't have to do that. Or at least I do that. Maybe I don't mean to speak for everyone. I do that.
No. I'm literally sitting here.
Okay.
Going through a scenario
Okay,
in my head
thank
right
you.
now, so.
Because like I definitely get like that, and I notice I get like this with people that are older than me, because I think in my entitled brain, well, if you're older than me, you should actually have more emotional intelligence than me, so I shouldn't have to be the one that meets you where you're at. You should have to. What a brat, Kayla. Like, how bratty does that sound? Like, but it's so true. So I just thank you for saying that.
Yeah,
You know, just the importance of meeting people where they're at, and like sometimes it's not about responding. It's not about having something to say back.
Yeah.
It is about just meeting them halfway and maybe just giving them the space to
And
be who
then
they are.
Then you can determine, okay, Like, should I be surrounding myself with this, you know, A, B, and C? Are they gonna help me be a better person? Are they like at my level right now? If not, cool. All right. See you later.
For sure.
Discernment. That's an
If you need
important
anything,
thing.
I'm here. I'm gonna be over here. You know what I mean?
That's also an important thing. Being able to like put up the boundary.
Right. Exactly.
And not feeling guilty, because like I would put myself down like a shame spiral when I first started like placing boundaries, and I don't know why, but it just happens. But like just to do that and not feel guilty is also a beautiful thing.
Right.
Sometimes you just gotta let people talk, like you said. Like sometimes, like especially when you know who these people are, like give them the courtesy, give them the kindness, give them the love that we should be showing other people. But it's like sometimes just let them talk and then just, you know, kind of move on with your day. You don't have to like give like weight to it. You know, you don't have to like, you don't even have to like respond to it or like say how you really feel about it. Like just let them speak, let them say what they need to say, and then be done with it. You know, it's like, you know, you give them the grace of hearing them out, and you know, but again, you understand who these people are. You've met them where they are. Of just like, you know, using what you said before as an example, like, oh, like I know, like you lie a lot of the times. Like, okay, so like in my head, like I know, like if I'm speaking to you, like my discernment is gonna tell me that I need to really check what it is that you're saying to me, everything that you're saying to me. I'm just gonna be mindful of it. I don't want to come into every single situation of you're gonna lie to me, but my discernment is gonna be on to be like, okay, I'm gonna hear what you're saying, but I am gonna think about it. But I'm not gonna assume that you're initially gonna lie.
Exactly.
But
Right, exactly.
I'm gonna be mindful of it too. You know, at the same time, I think that's different. I think you could still show people love and listen to them, but still keep them at kind of that arm's length.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Of that, 'cause you don't want to put like you said, you don't want to put yourself in those positions. Surround yourself with those people that are gonna bring you down after you've already gotten yourself out of wherever it is.
Right.
I hear that.
And,
2024 is the
sometimes
year
you
of
don't.
loving people from
Sometimes
afar.
you don't even realize it. You know what I mean? Especially like when you're young, like you don't know like different types of people. So like you just know what you're around.
That's
You know what I
true.
mean? That's all you know at that time. So it's harder at that point.
For sure. I totally agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I feel like letting people, like just distancing yourself. I have a hard time with boundaries as well. So I feel you. Like I really, there's a lot of times where I feel like, yeah, like, you know, this person isn't really like the best person in my life right now, but like I do feel guilty sometimes, like cutting people off.
Yeah.
Because like I know what it's like to be abandoned, so I don't feel like I want to do that to other people.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like that's like the major like guilt where I feel sometimes. It's like
Abandoning somebody if they do harm to your peace or your happiness. Like, so that's one
That's
thing. Like,
facts.
so I used to feel like that. Now, y'all cut a motherfucker off.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Who the fuck you? I have no idea, bro.
Yeah.
Like, it's over time,
Mhm.
when you get used to those, setting up those walls and those boundaries, over time, you'll be able to. Like, my mom, I got family members that I don't rock with.
Yeah.
My mom's always like, oh, it's your family, Christopher, blah, blah, blah. It's like, no, mom. They intrude on my happiness and my peace. Unacceptable.
Facts.
Beautiful,
You know,
yeah.
You don't have to have answers either. You can just.
I accept them for who they are, just over there.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Right.
You know what I
Over
mean?
there.
I may not meet them where they are, but they stay over where they are, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah. That's fact. That's what I had to learn. I had to learn that for sure. Yeah.
Did it
When
before.
did Joe do that one time? I did something different. He did like that or some shit.
Yeah,
right?
he did something like that. Yeah.
Ew.
There's like
Yeah, the hand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like when you on
Trying
FaceTime
Yeah.
you do the thumbs up.
yeah,
Like,
Yeah.
they'll pop up. Yeah. So,
It's not what I wanted, but I'll take it.
It's the little things.
yeah, man. For sure. But yeah, like, yeah, it's like life is hard though. But you know, I feel like, you know, when you know what you got to do and like you really know who you are, you know. And it takes a while to even know who you are. And
Yeah.
we learn every single day. So it's not even like, do you ever really know who you are? I don't know.
No.
But I guess like you can like, I don't know. That's a good question. I don't even know that question myself.
It's like
that's what I was saying
we're
at the top of this. Like,
Yeah.
there's things that I'm learning about myself as to why I'm acting the way that I'm acting. I'm like, oh no, I can actually change that. Like, I
Yeah.
can fix that.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I didn't know that that was the reason why I was doing that, but now I do. So now it's like, okay, now I have to kind of teach an old dog new tricks and kind of break that chain break that cycle of just like, okay, it's not everybody that is doing this to me, and I have to react that way. I can compartmentalize it, and each person is their own individual scenario. It's not always the same scenario. I literally just dealt with this the other day because running an event and stuff. I'm not going to get into the details, but like I had the same thing, and I was like, no, and I was honest with them too. I was like, I was frustrated at first, but my reaction is because it's something that I'm working on. Of you're not the person that did the scenario years before. You know, you're a completely different person. This is a completely different scenario. I can't take it out on you the same way. I have to be mindful. I have to give you grace on just what this situation is, and just stop tagging everybody in the same. You know, categorizing everybody in the same group for something that's completely different.
Oh, Pastor talked about that on his podcast. Shout out to that podcast, Bread and Beans, right?
Bread and Beans.
Okay. I was like, oh no, did I just get the title wrong? No, that's an awesome podcast. Wow, we got to talk about some awesome topics tonight, gentlemen.
Yes.
Thank you so much. I want to say
problem.
thank you for your transparency and just talking about things that need to be talked about.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much for that.
I appreciate the platform, and y'all have a great podcast going. Y'all are great hosts.
Thank you.
Yeah, like, you know, and
Nah.
yeah, I appreciate the time though. The time, like, your time's important, so I appreciate it.
Yeah,
Oh,
absolutely.
thank you for coming out, and it's great to see you again.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, of course. No, I appreciate coming to see you guys. And he told me, he was like, yeah, like, go to see that. I was like, oh, I might have something to do, but I need to be
pull
here.
up.
Like,
Yeah.
like, I think that, you know, just kind of coming out to see you guys it's always good. And, you know, this is a new space from
Hell
where
yeah.
I was last year.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
That's right, because you were when we were over at the studio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
it's like, it's cool to see how you guys have, like, you know, grown up until now. Because even, like, the first time, like, I think we was using the camera on the laptop.
Yep.
You know, so, like...
Oh, wait.
Yeah.
So have you seen all iterations so far?
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
He's an
yeah.
OG with
That's
it.
yeah.
How
So it's like,
special.
it's really cool to see the growth.
That's so wonderful.
One of my first shows when one of my first times on here was when you were on.
Okay.
That was the first time I met you. That was like during a live stream, and then you came into the studio, and
Yeah.
now.
Oh,
now
I
you're here.
love this.
If it wasn't for
us.
this podcast, man, I
I'm
wouldn't have
pretty sure
known
he
you. I
came
wouldn't have known you.
Yeah.
If it
I'm
wasn't.
pretty sure he came in the studio when we were just using cell phones too.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
think we had
Wow.
the cameras
Yeah,
No,
I think, because
we-
I
no.
know,
The progress is crazy.
I know it was the laptop. I'm sure it might have been, like, phones or something, but, yeah, like, it was, like, it started from then to now, it's like you can see, you know, the growth and how everything has, like, grown and stuff. It's really cool. to see that.
Absolutely.
So,
That's
yet. It's able to
special.
go because people like y'all keep coming on. Dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For real, guys.
Appreciate it.
Without y'all, we'd have nothing. You know what I mean?
Is there anything that you gentlemen want to just plug or bring up before we officially wrap? You guys got anything going on?
Yeah, like, you know, I'm still, like, just gonna, like, tap in with, like, you know, my creative side and, like, kind of figure out, like, my next steps and everything. But I do have an album out called Sunrise. It's on all platforms. Stream that if you like. My name on socials is NDTRIP, NDTrip_. Yeah, so my name's Nick, by the way, if y'all can catch that before. I go by NDTrip. So appreciate the platform for me to say this and for me just to speak my truth.
Absolutely, no problem.
Cool.
No, we here for him.
Okay.
I said, no,
He's like, I've been on it.
bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm just, if you want.
Yeah, Don Talk Podcast. Yeah, just new episode coming out Friday. I'm trying to be consistent and releasing weekly. That's a lot. But yeah, yeah, new episode this week. More to come. So yeah, for sure.
Stay tuned, everybody.
Close it out. Go ahead.
Now,
Practiced earlier.
Yeah, you did. This is your moment to shine, Life with a Y. Come on.
so that concludes our episode 92. Yeah,
3.
93 now. 93
93,
of the Right Mind
93.
Podcast. Once again, my name is L.Y.F.E.
I'm Kayla.
Nick, Andy, Trip.
AK the Don.
I'm Justin.
Justin.
Crispy, do your
Also
thing.
got, as always,
Crispy.
Real close this week, guys.
And then we got our man Jay Faith over here in the background.
What's
He's a
up?
little under the weather right now, but you know he contributed, of course.
He's right there.
Hey, yes, sir. So until next time.
What's up?
What's up?
What's up?